Going to bring the next video, then you will hear exactly what you are looking for. That is where I am going to expose the video bit by bit. But let's go there.
It is our honor, our collective honor, to welcome Michael Rubin from the American Enterprise Institute to talk to us about issues relating our freedom. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Michael.
Let me begin by saying...
Recording in progress.
Let me begin by saying Biafra exists. Biafra exists. When I analyze, it's important to recognize the obvious. It's willful blindness to embrace some of the excuses which the West uses to avoid discussing the autonomy, the freedom, the liberty, and the independence of Biafra.
Watch the eye contact. We will find out that it is not actually in alliance with what he is saying, and watch the facial expression. It is not in agreement with whatever he is saying, so that you will know that this is a real incongruence. Listen to it.
It is not climate change, but deliberate murder. Climate change doesn't hire Fulani gangs to rape and murder in Biafra. The authorities in Abuja do. And we need to recognize that reality. Too often, the State Department, the European Union, the African Union.
Watch the eye contact. Watch the eye contact. Everything he is saying here can never be used against him in the court of law. Because of, his intelligence, these are people who knows how to get away with some, what they said, and it can never be used against them. It is called incongruence. That's exactly what he's displaying. His body language, his eye contact is not in alignment with what he is doing. If this is presented as an evidence in a court, they will say that it lacks credibility because there is no determination. The body language does not match their verbal testimony. That's exactly what this is. If you bring a witness on the dock, and you decide to cross-question the witness, or for the witness to give you a testimony, when the body language is not in correspondence with what they are saying, that thing does not have credibility. These people understand this path of law, and they are taking advantage of it. That's why you can invite them. Maybe you give them some money to invite them to come and read out things for you, and they cannot use it against them. No matter where you take them, they cannot be held accountable for everything they said here, because it is not aligning with the body language and the eye contact. That is American law. That is British law. That is Australian law. That is many European countries' law. If you understand it, it will help you. So pay attention.
Powerful against the weak. But that's not how human rights work. When it comes to the abuses of the Nigerian government, they must be held to account. When Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met with Muhammadu Buhari, the former president of Nigeria and a war criminal from the days of the first Biafra genocide, he took he took Nigeria off the State Department's religious freedom watch list.
You do see that?
The United States and all other countries must calibrate our policies towards the reality of the way things are, rather than the way we wish things would be. The fact of the matter is, on any watch list for religious freedom, Nigeria should be on its blacklist. It should be its worst tier, because reality cannot be ignored, nor should human rights of all those in Biafra be swept under the bus. Frankly, if Nigeria spent as much energy hunting the perpetrators of violence against the Igbo as they do pressuring Finland to punish the free speech of Biafra's leaders,
Okay.
Nigeria would be a much better place. Unfortunately, rather than reform, rather than embrace liberty, rather than embrace self-determination, Nigeria seems to embrace transnational repression.
Oh.
And that is why all Biafra activists in Finland should be free. Now, a lot of people will look at Biafra and say,
That is why all Biafran activists should be free in Finland. But these same people are coming to tell you that their Eperima is not arrested or is not in custody. Pay attention. Oh.
of Biafra's leaders, Nigeria would be a much better place.
Incongruence.
Unfortunately, rather than reform, rather than embrace liberty, rather than embrace self-determination, Nigeria seems to embrace transnational repression. And that is why all Biafra activists in Finland should be free.
Okay.
Now,
Why will they be free if they are not in custody? They are telling you, making AI videos to tell you that their crime minister is free and is all over the place. Now, this is the confirmation that the crime minister is charged with terrorism.
a lot of people will look at Biafra and say, you know, we've never heard of Biafra. That reflects their ignorance and their ignorance of history rather than the necessary reality. But then you will have some naysayers who will say, why are you declaring independence? Read.
Check the body language, the movement of the mouth. This is a true, a very, very intelligent presentation. This will not even pass that room where this presentation was made. People will know, intelligent people will know that this is incongruence. His eyes is not in line with what he is saying. His eye contact, that is incongruence. So, they came to deceive Biafrans while protecting themselves in case if there is anybody who will decide to say, no, you said this, come and identify or come and defend yourself in the court of law because you said this and that, because they are figures that are known, so they can be sued for whatever they say. So they know very well that what they come here to do is to act drama and deceive everyone. Even if this man said that I had tea with the government of Finland or government of USA, without the body language aligning with it, it will never be held against them because of what we call incongruence. Attention.
Declaring independence in Finland rather than in Biafra itself. And again, that reflects an ignorance of history for those who might criticize. After all, Czechoslovakia declared its independence in Washington, D.C., right near where I sit now. And no one suggested that the Czechs and the Slovaks didn't deserve their freedom. Let me conclude say, as an analyst again, I don't think the United States will be the first country to recognize Biafra. But I pray that it won't be the third country either.
He doesn't think that the United States, where they come from, and they claim, I want you to note down what this man said here right now. Note it down. Then I think there will be a question thrown at him. Then you remember this that he said now and bring it and contextualize it to the question that will be thrown at him. And see where they shot themselves in the leg and expose the shenanigan that they use to deceive Biafrans that are actually not being able to, that are not able to think and reason for themselves. Pay attention.
Biafra to move from Finland and to lobby vociferously, night and day, in order to ensure that the African Union recognizes that Biafra is already more organized, already more capable of statehood, already will have a higher standard of living, already will be...
He is sending you now to African Union, back to African Union. These are the people who have tea with presidents. They have tea with presidents. They speak to presidents in the United States. These are the people, right? According to what we're going to hear, these are the people. So now he is telling you that America will not recognize you. But he is praying for them to be the third country that will recognize you. What does that tell you? He is telling you to go to African Union. Go to African Union and get recognized first before you start looking for something else. That's what this man is telling you indirectly. Go and do the needful. Go to African Union, and then before you start going to America and doing lobbying. Because this is my people being deceived. Because some people in the village, when they see people of European descent, they believe they have seen a Messiah. That's why they are chanting. All of them, their hairs the hairs in their body is standing. We have seen the Messiah. Eberima has done it. We are speaking to people who drink tea with Donald Trump. Listen to this, how these people will sell themselves out.
At peace with itself and its neighbors, more than many other African countries. And therefore, it will be a boon to Africa, a boon to the African Union, a boon to the spread of democracy in the region, an anchor for stability in the region, in an area that is increasingly unstable, especially as people come from the north in order to destabilize. So let me conclude by saying with my very short remarks that I wish I could be with you there today. Family prevented me from coming. But I admire what you're doing. I follow what you're doing, and I pray for what you're doing.
Okay.
Long live Biafra.
Okay. Now listen. I just hope I'm playing the right video. Just listen. This is where it becomes more interesting. Listen attentively.
Hey, Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am sure that they are listening. I am sure that the West is listening. Michael, I am sure the White House is listening.
Yeah, he's listening.
So, Michael, are you open to take one or two questions?
They don't shoot themselves in the leg.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So, does anyone have a serious question for Mr. Michael?
Okay.
All hail Biafra. Mr. Michael, I thank you for taking the opportunity to speak to Biafrans, and we appreciate what you're doing. My question is, have you had a cup of tea with Donald Trump this morning?
Did you see the psychological game these people are playing with the mind of our people? Someone will sit at home now watching. He will say that the man who is promoting Biafra is always having a cup of tea with Donald Trump. That's why they ask this question, so that you are those who, when they do fundraising, you will carry everything you have and give these criminals. And you will think that you are doing yourself a favor. You are bringing what is going to destroy you from inside and out. You see, Fulani headsmen, they are baby to what these people are planning for you in that place. So pay attention to see what's going on here. What a question for people who are looking for freedom. What a question. But let's see the answer to this very question. It might make sense. Maybe it might make sense to you. Let's see. I don't want to judge it on your behalf. Let's hear.
I've had a cup of tea, but that's all.
We need to know.
Did you see how what is called incongruence? Have you had tea with Donald Trump this morning? And he responded, I had a cup of tea, that's all. He showed his cup of tea. Remember it was supposed to be a question of having tea with Donald Trump. He said, I had a cup of tea, that's all. And he showed the cup of tea. And the people there started chanting because they don't understand what is incongruence. Because of the moronic nature of a black man. You know, some black people are actually a disgrace to the black lives or to black community. They are disgrace to black community. You will hear some people right now chanting and saying, oh, the person that we are communicating with has tea with Donald Trump, but he never said he had tea. He has tea with Donald Trump, but he said, I had a cup of tea, that's all. Remember how this thing is a double-edged sword. Those with no sense who say he said he had a cup of tea with Donald Trump, and a man in his caliber will not come to the public and lie. This is how colonialism is working, and this is what they do with the leaders of Africa, and they are falling for it because these people, they know how to present themselves, they know how to manipulate, stuff, and you will think they are speaking on your behalf. Pay attention, pay attention. Someone is telling me that I am mad. Maybe let me rewind it for them so that they will know whether I am mad or they are stupid. Pay attention. Let me just rewind it for the fish brain that is telling me I am mad.
Mr. Michael, I thank you for taking the opportunity to speak to Biafrans, and we appreciate what you're doing. My question is, have you had a cup of tea with Donald Trump this morning?
I've had a cup of tea, but that's all.
What?
We need to know.
Manipulation of the highest order. The question was, have you had a cup of tea with Donald Trump this morning? Instead of him knowing that he never had tea or even sat in the same place with Donald Trump, he said, I have had tea, that's all. I have had tea, that's all. So that means he is, in other words, responding that he only had tea with Donald Trump this morning. And now the incongruence actually made him to show the cup of tea that he's holding, to use it to defend himself if in case someone called him to clarify, when did you have tea with Donald Trump? Psychology is so dangerous, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it because, people might be stupid, but not everybody at the same time. He showed you that he is drinking a cup of tea. When you take him to court, he will tell them that I responded, I was drinking a cup of tea. That's why I showed them my cup. So they believe what they want to believe. That's their problem. It is not my duty to clarify or to make them, tell them what to believe. Or they can actually bring it up that there is no time for detailed explanation. That's why he cut it short. There are different ways to run away from, some, act of, criminality. If you are wise, that's what they are doing. So in this regard, let's see if there will be another question that will actually implicate them further. Listen to it.
We need to know, with your own experience,
Slaves.
what do you think Donald Trump will be saying at this moment?
Another
Let
one.
me put it this way. Personnel is policy. Donald Trump is the president. But what matters are those who will be staffing him. At the Undersecretary of State for Africa level, at the National Security Council, in the Pentagon. That is who need, also in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee separately. That is who needs to be lobbied if the Biafrans are going to convince the United States.
Did you hear that? She asked this woman asked this man a question. The man is answering a different thing altogether, because the woman is placing the question in such a way to align that this man, or to actually make you believe that this man is a close ally to Donald Trump, that Donald Trump will spend his time watching this shenanigan because his man is the one presenting it. That's exactly why that's exactly what they want to actually plant here. And the man told them that you don't know, in fact, you have not done anything. That's what this man told them now. You have not done anything. You need to start lobbying. It is the people that is going to work with Donald Trump, like secretary and all that, you are going to start lobbying them, because I myself, I am nobody. That's what this man presented right now. Maybe you want to hear it and understand it in that way. I can play it again, then you will hear it and understand exactly what he represents. He called himself that he is nobody. So you need to go to people who are somebody. Let's actually play it again. Let us play.